Well, the race for the presidency of the United States is heating up. Trump's on the ground campaigning, forcing Democrat nominee out of the basement and onto the streets of Pittsburgh. As President Trump toured Kenosha, Wisconsin, the hotspot for the latest round of civil unrest, Biden is again raising doubts over his mental ability.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it.
It's almost one a day. Joining me now, former Senator Cory Bernardi in Adelaide and in Sydney, James Morrow, opinions editor for the Daily Telegraph and co-host, of course, of Sky News Outsiders. Cory, I'll start there. Another fumble from Biden. Are they going to get worried he won't make it cleanly through to November, do you think? Is that part of the reason why he's been buried for so long?
I think that's absolutely right, Peter. The Democratic Party would be most concerned about his capacity to last an election campaign, and it's really going to come to the fore when he's expected to debate President Donald Trump, who, for whatever people might say about him, Donald Trump is a very effective framer of discussions and debate. And I don't think Joe Biden's in any position to cope with that. And that's why you've got people like Nancy Pelosi now saying that Joe Biden shouldn't dignify Donald Trump by debating him. And I think that's a very clear indication that Biden has no idea really what he's doing.
Well, they just need to get him through to November, because this is really the presidential race for Kamala Harris. Let's be really serious about that. They just need to hold him, prop him up a bit like Weekend in Bernie's, get him over the line, and I hope it's all good from there. I want to show you this tweet in relation to some Democrat mayors. It says the last time a Republican was a mayor in the following cities: Atlanta, 1879, Chicago, 1931. You can see there Baltimore, Detroit, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Philadelphia, all a long, long time ago. And the line is there any wonder these cities are the worst for education, police brutality and crime? It's an interesting statistic, James.
It really is, and you see it with other cities too, like New York City, which has gone back and forth between Republican and Democrat mayors, but which responds very quickly to any sort of bad governance style like we have under de Blasio. And now New York City is completely falling apart. So it doesn't take 100 years, like this tweet suggests, of Democratic governorship or mayoralties to turn a city into just an absolute disaster. It can only take 5 or 10 years, which is what's happened in New York, where we're seeing crime up, shootings up, the middle class leaving in absolute droves. And at the same time, we've got Joe Biden saying, oh, no. With the Democrats, we can be the law and order party federally, or at least I think that's what he was trying to say, but I couldn't quite figure out what he was trying to say in that clip there, which, by the way, it should also be noted, he flew to Pennsylvania to give that little talk. He spoke for 12 minutes, didn't take questions from the press, and then went back home again. That is their definition of getting Biden out of the basement. So, but this whole thing, the Democrats, every one of these cities that have fallen apart, we're seeing the civil unrest, they're all run by Democrats. One is an independent, and it is just an absolute shocking indictment on the party and the way they run a city. How could they run the country?
And just before we go, I'm going to ask Cory about something else, but Massachusetts, I don't think there's ever been a Kennedy that's run in Massachusetts and lost. Joe Kennedy III trying to move from the Congress to the upper house. He's lost the seat to Markey, who's, 74, 75, something like that. Now, he is unreconstructed in terms of a socialist. This is more evidence, if ever we need it, that the Democrats are truly a party of the hard left, James.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, and Ed Markey has been kicking around since I was a kid. I mean, I remember his name from decades ago. The whole party now, this is their problem. They now say, oh, well, we want to stop the riots. We want to stop the civil unrest. They're bad, they're bad, they're bad. These things have taken on a momentum of their own, and a few nice words from, Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi isn't going to do it.
Cory, now, look, this is interesting. I was alerted to this today. If you get Google or your own search engine, whatever it might be, if you search for Antifa, this is the anti-fascist protest movement, you search them online, you get an automatic redirection to Joe Biden's website. Can you believe it? You try it at home.
What a surprise. It's just extraordinary, the links the Democrats have to these sorts of movements. Let's remember that Black Lives Matter gets its funding from Blue State, which is a Democrat front fundraiser. And so the Democrats' tentacles are into all of these little grassroots organisations, or supposed grassroots organisations, but effectively they are just political machines that are intent on destroying whatever is there, so that, or the incumbency, so that they can go in and blame the incumbents and then seize power. It is just shameless, but we see the same thing here with grassroots organisations, with the Greens, even the Labor Party get into it as well. They're just sock puppets for the agenda that is radical left.